Assetto Corsa EVO is shaping up to be the best driving and racing game of 2025. And I've been hands-on with the game, spent a lot of time driving it, and I was seriously impressed. And I'm hard to please, I think, on racing games. And so was everyone else I spoke to who's also been hands-on. However, no one is speaking about the ultimate way to play Assetto Corsa EVO. And I think this is actually going to be the killer feature. And I've been seeing what the developers have been talking about, what's on the store page, chatting with them myself, and virtual reality is going to be huge for Assetto Corsa EVO. They have been saying that VR is day zero on Assetto Corsa EVO. They've been looking at the research as well. About 10% of people have used virtual reality with the original Assetto Corsa. And for me, that's quite a significant amount when you think of the advancements in VR headsets. So we've got Assetto Corsa EVO, incredible driving and racing game, incredible physics, incredible graphics, just incredible feel that you get through the wheel, trying it on different equipment. The force feedback is insane, the sensation of grip, the loss of grip, regaining grip, the fun you can have pushing a car, feeling on the brakes, feeling weight transfer, feeling the weight coming off the rear of the car, having to keep the car pointed straight. That's all amazing. Now, this was all shown, by the way, at the Sim Racing Expo in Germany, which I went to pretty much specifically to drive Assetto Corsa EVO hands-on. And Assetto Corsa EVO was the standout thing at the expo. Everyone was talking about it. It was huge. The other cool thing at the Sim Racing Expo was actually some of the virtual reality experiences and seeing people try, I think, virtual reality for the first time and have an incredible experience. And the only VR company at the Sim Racing Expo was Pimax, and I found that really interesting. Firstly, I've been doing content with Pimax for a long time now, using the Crystal Light and the Crystal. And to see Pimax actually at the Sim Racing Expo, speaking with sim racers, getting feedback from sim racers, positive and negative. What about the resolution? What about the bulkiness of headsets? What needs to be improved in newer versions? And understanding what sim racers want and what they don't want, I think was a really positive sign. I'll give you an example. The original Pimax Crystal has a standalone battery in the back. I actually still use that headset, but you don't need it for sim racing. And so they released the Pimax Crystal Lite that's just a bit cheaper and gets away with those features aren't needed. So when you bring that combination of and they can, VR is going to work in many different ways for Assetto Corsa EVO. If you go on the Steam page, you can see the different kind of ways they're going to support that. Many different headsets are going to work as well. Thinking about trying to loop up a Quest 3, people talking about the big screen beyond, all the HTC headsets as well. But thinking about something like a Pimax Crystal Lite on Assetto Corsa EVO in a couple of months, January 2025, could be insane. So you can see here, this is me playing at Fanatec in the Fanatec booth. Or actually my friend Mitchie Hoyer on the wheel at the moment. And look at the interior of the car. A few small details, by the way. There's just a bit of fogging or mistiness about the way the lights are occluded, which is very realistic. And that is going to look insane in virtual reality. If you're a virtual reality sim racer, you know one of the most incredible things to do is actually just lean in and look at the wheel. You know this, right? When you look at a wheel in virtual reality, especially one with illuminated lights, it looks like the real thing, and you end up, getting in really close, looking at the carbon fiber weave, looking at the Alcantara, maybe the buttons as well. That is going to be, I think, insane in Assetto Corsa EVO with the attention to detail they've given on the way lighting is in the cockpit. And then beyond the cockpit, a really impressive thing with EVO that you don't see in a lot of other sims was the volumetric side of things. You can see here at Imola, the way there was a bit of fog, the way there was a bit of mist, some of the lampposts kind of illuminating through the mist, but then the light just not penetrating all the way, was very moody. And I think that's going to be an insane feel in VR. I think the jury's out on whether VR makes you faster. It's something I'm still trying to work out. I think that fundamentally driving in a 3D space with stereoscopic 3D and viewing your braking points in that way and having the peripheral vision are all things that make you get faster. There's also the added variability of VR, that your neck is in a slightly different place, and from a pure esports perspective, you're adding in other variables. But if we take that to one side and look at immersion, and you can see a lot of in-game cockpit footage we've done in Assetto Corsa EVO, I honestly think that it's going to be the definitive way to play EVO. And I'm going to be doing lots of videos on the channel talking about the current state of VR headsets. Like I said, I do a lot of content with Pimax, so keep an eye out for that. Also going to be doing stuff on the MetaQuest 3 as well, and on the PSVR 2. It's going to be insane to see the VR community really come to Assetto Corsa EVO. And that's not all, because Assetto Corsa EVO, yes, we know there's going to be the tracks at launch. Not that many tracks, by the way, very important you know that. But there are going to be the incredible racing tracks. But there's also the big free roam element of Assetto Corsa EVO. And I think this is the potential secret source of AC EVO, because when you look at other open world driving games like Forza Horizon, like Test Drive Unlimited, like The Crew, the driving physics take a secondary place to the graphics and the open world. That's just a fact. These games are designed to be really accessible. And you have this disconnect, and I'm sure we've all felt it, where you buy a car or purchase a car in the game, you load into the map, and you for a moment admire this car, this new BMW or Mercedes or Audi, whatever it is, and it looks incredibly realistic, and you rev the engine, and the engine note is insane, and it's all good news so far. But then when you drive away, you snap back into being in a arcade racer, and that's the big compromise. And I've tried to tune these games. Look at the tuning guides I've done in the Crew Motorfest. You can get these cars to feel a little bit more authentic, but you're having to tune from a arcade base. Assetto Corsa EVO is fundamentally a driving simulator. That means for the first time, we might have a free roam driving simulator without having to navigate through, menus of mods. That is also an incredible VR native game. And I'm super excited by that. I might be spending a lot of time in Assetto Corsa EVO, and then you won't just be jumping into a really authentic BMW or Porsche that's going to sound and look great, but it's going to drive great as well. And this is the holy grail for me of free roam open world driving games, is that ultimate immersion when it comes to the authenticity of driving the car on a wheel in VR. So, Assetto Corsa EVO in virtual reality. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you excited for this or not? I want to hear from you, and I'll see you next time.